Welcome back to On the Nose, a podcast where we look back on all the comings and goings in terms of money flow and the Saturday thoroughbred domestic meetings. And if there's one person we need to check that out, it's Thad Taylor, who's always got his finger on the pulse, as it were.
Yeah, too kind, Paul. Too kind. It's a great introduction. You've been working on those. You did keep that up. You'll be in my good graces in no time.
Okay, mark that one down. Yeah. Alrighty. Two meetings, of course. One up north, one down south. We'll start up north at Tauranga.
Yep.
An 8-race card, and race 1 was a maiden for the 2-year-olds and up, and the trendsetter with Mickey McNabb. So I'm guessing, Stephen Marsh, Mickey McNabb, first of the day. I'm thinking probably not the best.
Doesn't sound good.
No.
Doesn't sound good. 3 out to $4 though. No money for the trendsetter. It was all on Bradley, who's getting close to a win, and sort of ran another race that it had been running for third.
A good friend, Cody Cole?
Yeah, Cody Cole, exactly. So couldn't get the job done. It was minus 70,000 Bradley. Fast Impact, who ran second, was the market mover in the race, 950 into 650. So there was plenty of money on those two, which meant the trendsetter was a big start to the day with all that money on Bradley. It was plus 70,000 for the trendsetter. So an unusual start to McNabb.
That is a surprise.
It is. It is. We had it at $3 with a lot of respect around the trendsetter, but Marketplace didn't want it, which meant we were plus 70 to the good first of the day.
Race 2, 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds, and hold on. Michael McNabb, no, it was a small field, $1.80-ish. Tony Pike trains, Honey Badger. Yes. The punters are getting some back.
Yes, they got some back.
Right, okay.
They got some. Gee, close short on totes. I mean, we didn't get any shorter than sort of 245, 250. I think it actually closed 260, Honey Badger.
That must mean there was a bit of money on somewhere else.
Yeah, there was. There were a few horses that they wanted to back. Look, Rib Cracker had support, but the stablemate of Rib Cracker, which was McKellen, had as much money or even slightly more than Rib Cracker, and Rib Cracker was about $3.40 and McKellen was about $4.80. So that was interesting in itself. And look, Pleasing had support as well, the speed influence in the race. So it meant that Honey Badger wasn't as bad as it sort of looked on paper. It was around minus 10,000 for Honey Badger. Bo Miller ran second in the race. It was a first starter, Janine Daly, 27 into 17 in a strong-ish 3-year-old field and ran a nice race. So I think a bit more ground. Bo Miller as a follow, but Honey Badger minus 10.
Race 3, a maiden for the 2-year-olds and up, and Accentuate at around $8 or $9 for Andrew Forsman. Did they know about this one?
Seems like the world knew about this one, bar me and the trading team, until it was all too late. $16 Accentuate. It was obviously a decent whisper for it around Cambridge because it was minus 50,000 Accentuate. 16 into 7, as I said. And look, they crushed it because Mr. Marigold was $2.50 into $2.20 and ran second. And that was minus 40,000 for Mr. Marigold. So if it wasn't going to be Accentuate,
they had you covered.
We couldn't zig or zag in that race. We were absolutely on toast. The run of Lofty Manuel, I mentioned it prior to the start on trackside that there was some money for it at long odds, 41 into 26, back to around $31. And then George caught it in the run, flashing for about fifth, Lofty Manuel. So, again, a horse that would want a bit more ground potentially, but a follow Lofty Manuel. But, yeah, one for Cambridge, that one, Accentuate, 16 into 7, minus 50.
Race 4, a benchmark 75 over the 1,200 metres, and another favourite gets home. Cleat with Gareth LaHood aboard, getting the 4 kilos off, and it helped.
Yeah, it heled. He knows how to celebrate a win.
He certainly does.
Gareth.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. 65s and 75s, some may argue, being a bit of an old traditionalist that I am these days.
Celebrate life. Celebrate your little small victories, whatever.
Yeah, certainly mentioned a few times in the Stewards report, old Gareth from Saturday, but good on him. Cleat, look, good ride, good win. Led all the way. It was easy, though. It was 290, out to 380. Onera was 550 into 450. I might be Onera, actually, now I think about it. That's what George calls it anyway, Onera. 550 to 450. That was the worst way for the TAB. That was around minus 50,000. And Sweet But Psycho was a good run for the O'Sullivan Scott team. They had another one on the race too, but there was money for Sweet But Psycho first up over a distance short of its best. It was 27 into 17, but because it's such a drift on cleat, it was 290 up to 380. It was actually plus 30,000.
Whoa. Onto the Kiwi Fruit Cup, race 5, and it's not quite the Kiwi Fruit Cup that we grew up with, Thad.
No.
It's Kiwi Fruit Cup by name.
Yeah.
And they went round over the 2,100 metres. What a charmer with Ashley Strawbridge aboard.
Yeah.
Gets the business done. But the race would be more memorable for something else.
Yeah, exactly. My goodness me. If Gallant Hero had one with Bruno Queiroz aboard, well, it would be one. It would be replayed and replayed until the end of time, like Aaron Kuru on the steeplechase at Awapuni that day. Boy, oh boy, it was a good effort. He lost the irons, regained them somehow, just by a sort of stroke. Like he just flicked his leg up and got the iron. It was an incredible effort. And then had the
then he looked like he was going to win.
he had the audacity to hit the front. And then Ashley came and ruined the party. Ashley, boo-hoo, Ashley. No, just kidding. Congratulations.
Good on you, Ashley.
I think your second win of all time. There's a congratulations. What a charmer, was a strong win. Yeah, they didn't want us reminiscing, old men like us reminiscing about the Kiwi Fruit Cup, what it used to be like back in our day and how it was a great... No, they want to hear that.
No.
Okay, it's all right. Quick fire was 280 into 220. That was where all the money was, minus 40,000, which meant What a Charmer was plus 40,000.
Race 6, 75 over the 1,600 metres, and Pacifico at around $3.40 with Jack Taplin getting 4 kilos off. And he beats your fave, Monday Melody.
Easy too, Monday Melody.
Yeah.
Easy it was. Was getting out, which actually meant Monday Melody and Pacifico. There was more money for Pacifico. I mean, it was a losing result, minus 25,000. Maldini ran second and was probably the only other shortener in the race. It was 8 into 650. So again, the marketplace quite accurate late in proceedings with the shorteners being Pacifico was rock solid and steady. That was minus 25, and Maldini was a losing result. And the shortener late, $8 into 650. There was money for Solidify again. Don't know what to do with Solidify personally now, but I can tell you that there's money. There was money for it again as it steps up in distance, but minus 25 Pacifico.
Race 7, the feature race of the day, the Tauranga Classic. Pam Gerard, Samantha Collett, Cork, $20 odd. So you got some money back, did you?
Lost. You knew it too. I said it on the broadcast. They knew something was up with Cork. She's a gallant mare. She loves Tauranga. She loves a heavy track. It was just one of those long shots that they gravitated towards, which just came off. And so even though it was 19 out to 23, I think traders should have held their line, to be fair, because it was minus 25,000. Midnight Scandal was the one they did want. I think just down to the map was going to get up a outside lead or lead and sort of be in front of Lux Libertas and TriStar, which was the case. Electric Time was the leader and was backed like it was going to lead and did lead. It was 35 into 17, but yeah, congratulations to the team there with Cork and to all Cork's supporters, because it was a loss in the Tauranga Classic of 25,000.
Final race of the day. It was a 65 over 1,400 metres, and Samantha Collett goes bang, bang to finish the meeting on Kaimoana at around, what was it? A dozen? $12?
Yeah, 12 was 10. I think it was 12 into 10 out to 14 or something around that. Anyway, it was a bit of an easer late. It was a big, wide open field. As you can understand why, maybe a horse that's been drifting slightly still won the race, because there was plenty of chances. Family Folks nearly got there. That was the big market mover. G. LaHood, again, down the outside. Couldn't quite.
We would have seen a celebration there, I'll tell you now.
I think he was thinking about celebrating at the 50-metre mark. Family Folks, 17 into 7. My bet of the day and your bet of the day, we didn't yelp. Just a Tipple and Prudentia. They were losing results. I hope that's nothing to do with us.
Oh, well, it won't be, because thankfully our final leg up for the season
is this Friday.
So
if anyone needs a freshen up, it's us.
100, straight out to the paddock.
Take a chance. It was 26 into 18. It's about the second. That's the second time that's moved in a row. Take a chance. It was a nice run for fourth, but Kaimoana managed to hold off the big market mover in Family Folks plus 30.
So overall, what did you say for Tauranga?
No, it was a plus 60. It was up and down. Accentuate was the big loss, and the Trendsetter in the first was the big win. And then Pacifico was a loss. Cork was a loss. But then Cleat was a winner, as was Kaimoana in the last. So look, the whole day sort of came down to the Trendsetter in the first race, funnily enough, because from there it was up and down like a yo-yo. So plus 60 Tauranga.
Okay, let's head down south to Riccarton, and it was another 8 race card there. Race 1 was a 65 over the 2,000 metres, and Waihora missed with Kendra Baker aboard at $13 odd for Lance Robinson. So another good start for the bookies, was it?
Lance came on the radio. Make excuses for the result, but Lance came on the radio and actually gave Waihora a good plug on the radio and trackside on the mail run there. And the two Tiako runners were a little bit soft in this market, which can't catch me and our Millie B, which is a bit unusual for their runners to be a little bit easy in the market. So
they still filled out the trifecta.
Yeah, they did. They ran. I thought our Millie B was going to win it, and she was the big drifter in the race. But Waihora Miss was 11 out to 18, and then back to 14 late. So I think the traders sort of pulled the wrong rein there, to be fair with Waihora Miss. And Matitsi was the big mover, 17 to 7:15. It was great to see the interview with Kendra Baker. Kendra Baker, yeah. She's obviously had some trouble getting back into the saddle and just to get back and get a win. And obviously Lance Robinson means a lot to her. That was cool to see the interview and to see her emotion around getting that win on Waihora Mist. A losing result, and I was happy it was for her supporters the first of the day.
Race 2, open handicap over 2,000 metres, and Taimati Diva at around $4 or $5. Salutes.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah, it was a win. It was just one of those funny 2,000 metre races, a lot of chances. Money was well spread. No one was too confident in what was going to happen. Amanda Rinn was 380 into 330. That was the worst way. It was minus 30,000. Lara Vida was a little bit easy and couldn't continue her win streak. The mover was Taramia Ladd from down south, ran a good race. Get home very, very strongly for Terry Kennedy. Might be a follow out of the race, Taramia Ladd, 14 into 9. But Taimati Diva didn't really budge in price, plus 15,000 the second.
Race 3 for the 2-year-olds over the 1,000 metres, and Tiako to the fore here, the favourite for your multi-punters.
Yeah.
This was nice, cool as a rain.
Yeah, did it pretty easily in the end. Although Alva Quero did give it a bit of a race at the straight.
Indeed.
Yeah. For the Pittman team, and they sort of cleared out, really, to be fair. Look, she did ease in price slightly, just late in proceedings, as there was money for the first starters, and, who wants to take $1.55 on a heavy 10 at Riccarton at this time of year? Well, you can understand why there's been a slight ease, but it wasn't a concerning drift, if you know what I mean. Just a sort of a slight recorrection late. There was money for Kiwi Magic. There was money for Super Irish, for Sam Wynn, among others, to be fair. So even though it was a multi-punters celebrated, it was only a break-even result because there was a bit of money spread there.
Race 4, a 65 over the 1,000 metres again, and Ka Ying Lucky. Ka Ying, now that sounds familiar. I don't know where I heard that.
What is that?
I'll tell you what, you won't get Ka Ying at around $7.80.
No, the Hong Kong galloper.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, I don't think this one's quite up to that, but certainly pays its way. Ka Ying Lucky, that's 2 wins in a row now. One was on the synthetic at Awapuni, and then bang, straight down to Riccarton, and it was 11 into 8 late, break even, so there was good support for the Susie Gordon runner. The biggest liability probably on the day was Chloe Bon, who ran second. Probably had its chance, to be fair. It was about minus 160,000, Chloe Bon.
Wow.
And Giannis was the other mover down the bottom of the book. They're 16 into 8. But, they didn't miss Ka Ying Lucky, to be fair. In a race where we should have made some money, you would have thought, with Chloe Bon being so well backed, it was only break even, and it was a nice late move, 11 into 8.
What did Clobon open up?
420 into 320 Clobon.
Right.
So, yeah, certainly one to mark down, obviously, in opinion. It was getting home, doing its best work late, I guess, but probably had its chance.
Okay, race 5, a 75 over 1,200 metres, and Victorian Charm at around $6 gets home for Bevan and Robin Wilson.
Yeah, and they're having a season. They're always competitive, their horses, good on them. We opened Victorian Charm favourite at $5.50. It didn't move. But Thomasina did and started favourite, 7 into 420. On Song was 13 into 850. That looked the winner for a little way. Ran a good second. And the Russian Rocket was going for 3 in a row, trying to bring that southern form up. And it was a losing result and ran quite a nice race. It was about minus 30,000, Russian Rocket. But because Victorian Charm was superseded for favourite by Thomasina, it was a loss, but only a small one, minus 5,000.
Race 6, a 75 over the mile, and Bella Luch with, there's that girl again, Kendra Backer.
Yeah, good on her. Yeah. Great stuff. Led all the way. Tough win. And that was one of the favourites that they liked. There were about 4 in this market, and Vamos, Ocean Light, the Reverberations, they were all hovering around that $4 mark. And the only one that shortened of those 4 was Bellaluce, 390 into 340, minus 20. Because those favourites were easy, there were a couple of roughies that came in. Koyama was one of them, probably to mark down at 11 into 9 with a bit of smart money about Koyama. But Bellaluce was minus 20, a well-backed favourite.
Race 7, the Amberley Cup over the 1,400 metres. And the top weight gets home, and I'm guessing that the 3 kilos that Liam Cody got off really did help in the end for Conor O'Kieran.
Yeah, we are seeing these claimers now. We see it every year, but it becomes more prevalent on a day like this, doesn't it? And they just had us on toast here in this race, Paulie. I mean, Conor O'Kieran was 4 into 280. That won the race, minus 20,000. Albatross was second, 17 into 7. And he's tons of grunt was third. BP liked it.
He did.
It was 15 into 12, and they ran 1, 2, 3. So they just nailed it. Anything that shortened ran well. But Conor O'Kieran was extremely well back favourite, minus 20,000.
Oh, look at that trifecta, $112.
Yeah, not bad
for the 3 that were backed in a fairly small field.
Could have gone straight there for $1.
Well, here we go.
Easy now.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, final race of the day, race 8. It was a 65 over 1,400 metres and Highland Fling with, Samantha Collett can go bang, bang up north. Liam Cody can go bang, bang down south. And he did on Highland Fling. Oh, looks like almost a ranky.
Yeah, well, it wasn't either. We opened at $12. It was out to 27, so there was some
despised by the market.
Yeah, there were some big moves in and out here in this race. So whether we got it wrong, well, I'd probably suggest we did in terms of our initial assessments around a number of these horses. But Highland Fling 12 out to 27 plus 25,000. 2 horses to mention. Shaking Stevens was first up down south. And boy, it was heavily back. One of the moves of the day, 12 into 480, but just didn't cop it first up. So probably wouldn't give up with the amount of money we saw for Shaking Stevens, even though it was, first up down there. It's never raced well fresh up north. So maybe with a bit of racing, Shaking Stevens. An explosive lass ran well. That was well backed, 850 into 550. But they missed it in the last there. Highland Fling 12 out to 27 plus 25.
Right, so did the bookies end up making a wee bit of money down south at Riccarton on Saturday?
Short answer, no.
Oh.
You'll be devastated to hear.
Whoa.
Like they were just, Waihora Mist was a loss. Cool Azarine was basically a loss, particularly with multis factored in. Kaying Lucky was a loss.
If Kaying Rising was, it would have been a loss.
It would definitely been a loss, but it would have been opened at $1.10 if that. But anyway, that was a loss. Victorian Charm was a loss. Bellaluce was a loss. Conor O'Kieran was a loss. Could have been a lot worse. We got out with Highland Fling to a degree, but it was still a losing day, just minus 15,000 on I would say, a forgettable day, not necessarily of racing, just in terms of profit and loss. It was a small win at Tauranga and a small loss at Riccarton.
Okay, that's it for another week for us. Thad, thanks for popping in again. Don't forget, you can find On the Nose on the Punters Lounge at tob.co.nz or wherever you get your favourite podcasts. And don't forget, check out Thad for the Follow the Money edition, where he'll look to pinpoint 1 or 2 runners for you to keep an eye on, ones that had money on and didn't quite get things go their way on race day.
If you've been listening closely over the last 20 minutes, you may be able to work out who these 2 horses are going to be. So little test for you, perhaps, on the Follow the Money edition, Paulie. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Thad, and thank you for tuning in. We'll be back again next week with another edition of On the Nose.